Hey, what's up everyone? JP here. So this video this week is just going to be kind of an overall update on all the projects going on. A lot of you know we had a baby a few months back. Well, he's about 10 months old now, so that's been keeping us pretty busy. But these projects are all coming along. So in the 62 Willys, we have we've gone on the website to Novak Adapters. Found out we just have to actually hack the end of the transmission output shaft off 3/4 of an inch for all of that to close up. So I'll show you the gap here. So we got that gap right there. So we're just supposed to hack the end of the shaft coming out of the transmission off. And then once we do that, we got to decide on, I think I want to make a bolt-in floor pan like this section used to be, only because if he ever needs to remove this seat for any reason and we weld in a floor pan, it may make it a little more difficult, or maybe not even possible, to get out this cover here and get down to the seat bolts. So we're going to probably do a bolt-on floor pan, so that way he can take it off, take a seat out if he needs to. Once that's done, we can bring this whole thing up and then finish making and creating the motor mount and the transmission cross member. Now the motor mounts and transmission cross member will take a little bit of time for designing and fabricating, but once that stuff's done, the rest of this should move pretty freely because this thing wasn't already a turnkey crate engine. So we'll run the ignition to where it needs to run. We'll have to run a in-tank fuel pump, run new fuel lines, that type of stuff. And then we'll give it back to the customer. He's gonna do whatever he wants with the axles and all that. But that part should move a little quickly once we'll get the radiator in, make sure the radiator is gonna fit, get the electric fan wired up.
Built with soul, not just steel.
On the 1937, if you've watched any of our short videos on YouTube or across any of our other social media platforms, a buddy of ours is giving us a late 90s S10 frame. So we're going to do a frame off on this, put a modern S10 frame under there, so that way we can drop it down, just make it a little bit easier. So one of these days when we have time, we'll go pick that up and do all that. As for the 77 Toyota Celica drift build, you guys have been seeing a little bit of updates on that. We got the 1UZ pulled out of a wrecking yard. We got it torn down. We're going to be ordering the parts to freshen up that 1UZ. The very next thing we're doing on this is we're going to be putting all the Techno Toy tuning front suspension in. We're going to put the excessive manufacturing A86 cross member, which will take that 1UZ just fine. So we're going to put all that in. So this thing's going to start making some really good progress. We still got to save up for a transmission and stuff and finish some body work and stuff. We're not going to go too crazy because this is a drift car, and unfortunately, if we ever get into tandem drifting and stuff like that, it may get beat up. So we might build some custom fenders that can take the blunt of it, so we're not beating up the body too much. Another project of mine that I haven't even started on, you guys probably haven't seen much of it, is my 66 Impala. This one here is just going to be your traditional Pro Tour muscle car, 454 big block, just modern suspension, modern brakes, but just going to be just a total muscle car here. As for the 76 GMC with the LS, or I should say LQ9 swap, the 6-liter LS engine, or cast iron engine technically. It's got a 4L80E. This one's on hold. We do need a shop truck because we're going to be selling our Jeep soon. So in hopes of getting this one done, the Celica, I'm hoping to get the 76 just roadworthy, even with all the rust and everything else, just to get it roadworthy, get the brakes fixed, There's a couple gaskets. I'm going to change out the head gaskets on the engine and water pump. But get this thing roadworthy so I can use it as a work truck, so I don't have to take the big van every time I need to just go do something small. And then as for like off-camera projects, we were working on this 65 Corvette that we ended up having to do a lot more custom work than was expected. They told them, oh yeah, the motor would fit right in. It doesn't. It's a Gen 5 454, which is about 0.4 inches taller block. You would think that wouldn't make that much of a difference because you're talking angles, but everything has been slightly off. Plus, I believe this was originally a small block car, so we ran into nightmares with things fitting. 396 came out of it, but the power steering brackets weren't just right. They were kind of wonky. They had them bent. I had to kind of bend them back. I ended up having to make a custom, which came out really good, but a custom tensioner for the water pump. He got a radiator. Well, they make 3 different radiator supports, and it was too late to turn the radiator back. So I made this radiator fit. It's all mounted up. I had to make custom mounts down here. They got nice rubber bushings in them, and then I made a custom shroud. There's a little tiny gap over here. I didn't want air to go through, so made a nice shroud with a little bit of rubber, so it'll help direct the air right through the radiator going down the road. If you guys also remember the shorts as well, I ended up having to take 2 oil pans and make a custom oil pan. I needed a 6-quart pan that would fit the C2 Corvette steering, because the pan has dimples in it specifically where the steering is and is at a certain angle. But then I needed a Gen 5 rear and front bearing or timing cover mouth. So I ended up having to cut that off the 454 pan and then buy a Gen 2 Corvette 6-quart pan, cut that top off, make them all fit and weld them all together. So this has a custom oil pan on it now, a one-off oil pan, which shouldn't be an issue. But there's a few things left, but everything underneath is done. Everything is fitting properly now. I mean, we have clearance here, clearance of steering, all the exhaust fits just fine. We did replace their rag joint for them because that thing was worn out and broken. So everything else is fitting fine. It is going to be a little bit of a tight fit, but we'll just get, I already verified with a hose, scrap hose I had, but if we get a tight bend here, it won't hit the belt. So we're gonna get a tight bend that'll go over. If we have to connect more than one hose at a time, we will. This also down here, we'll get one hose that comes up, does a 90, and then maybe a 90, and then a 90 and 90, or however bend we need to do to go to there. The old socket on the old radiator was over here, so that's not a big deal. That stuff's pretty easy. Everything else on this side is looking good. We gotta pull that distributor out still, put a different distributor in. I know this video is just kind of rambling on and on, but I wanted to get you guys kind of an update on everything that's been going on. We got, well, obviously the 1UZ is all torn down. Everything is here, so we're gonna order those parts so we can get this thing thrown back together in hopes of, just for room in the shop purposes, we hope to get this stabbed into the Celica to get more room in the shop, and then we'll just let it sit in there until we get a transmission. We'll just anchor it down to the motor mounts there. But yeah, anyways, you guys, thanks for always following and subscribing. Until next time, this is JP Street and Performance, where dream cars are built, not bought. From the first cut to the final pass, I'll catch you on the next project.